Hey guys, Ryan here again. Do another think, learn, and be vulnerable blog. Today I'm going to talk about sports and why I'm not going to watch them anymore and not follow them and not watch videos on them or watch sports shows where two dudes argue over the value of sports. Um, so some background. All through high school, I played football, I wrestled, and I did track and played baseball. I was a three-star athlete. Um, we eventually won the championship my senior year. I coached football for 5 years after high school. Me and my dad and my brother got to do it together, and those are some of the best times of my life. And those are memories that I'll always have and will always cherish. And even though my brother's not here anymore, I always think back to those times, and I'm really glad that we got to do it. So I've been a lifelong 49ers fan. I have multiple jerseys and hats and stuff. Um, but I realize now just sports doesn't really do anything for me anymore. You know, later on in life, it became more about the camaraderie and more about the shared experience. And I think that's the thing that I realize that I miss the most is in a world where the internet is so prevalent, in a world where there's so many different streaming services, what connects all of us anymore? At least in terms of like of things that we can talk about. Like I feel like it's become harder to talk to people about things because we just don't have as many shared experiences anymore. We don't have as many commonalities anymore. And for a long time, sports were that thing for me, at least to other guys. You know, I felt like that was the thing I could connect on. Um, and even that, just it's not really doing it for me anymore. And I feel like the time that I'm putting into it, especially now during the pandemic, who am I even talking to about this? Who am I even associating with that I can talk sports with? You know, aside from my dad and a couple of my guy friends who I'm already close with, I don't know, it just doesn't seem important anymore. And I'm not saying sports in general aren't important. They are. We all need to have athletic competition. We all need to have a sense of camaraderie. You know, um, it's nice to have something to root for. It's nice to feel attached to something. It's nice to believe in something. But I would say that there is a gladiatorial feel to them as well, where it's sort of like, hey, they're here to distract the masses from what's really going on and what are actual real problems. Um, but I can also see its value in a sense that it gives us a relief for a little while. You know, it allows us to have only one thing to focus on. It allows us to connect to other regions and other places, you know. But the thing is, players are changing teams a lot more now. Teams are changing cities a lot more now. I don't know. Like my allegiances aren't as strong anymore. I'm not as attached anymore, you know. And when you're a fan for this long, inevitably the players that you loved and you attached to retire and they do other things, and a lot of them pass away, and it's like it's hard to keep up with. And quite frankly, I think I've devoted too much time to sports, and it's kept me away from doing things that would actually like legitimately improve my life. You know, learning about investing, learning about myself, you know, taking psychology courses, taking art classes, dancing more. You know, obviously can't, a lot of that can't do now, but my point is that there's a lot more fulfilling and enriching endeavors that I could do that also have communities attached to them, um, that I could connect with more than just sports. And because sports aren't as ubiquitous anymore and aren't as like relevant to every single person's experience anymore, I don't know. I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop. YouTube is gonna have to change its algorithm because every like 2 out of 3 videos is sports related. So we're gonna have to fix that somehow. Just start clicking on stuff. Um, so this is hard though because has been a huge part of my identity, and it's been something that I've been really enjoyed and really passionate about. And so, what do I think? I think that sometimes you need to look at the things that you do in your life and realize when they're not benefiting you or just not benefiting you much at all. Um, you have to think about, are the processes that I've done up until this point, is that am I doing them because they're tradition, because that's the thing I've always done, or am I doing them because they actually benefit me and they actually add value to my life? And what can we learn from this? Well, we can learn that sometimes we attach to things just because we don't have a reason for it. We just kind of like them. But that doesn't mean that they're good for us. You know, a lot of times, you know, this is just how it's always been done. And I think the vulnerable thing here is to realize that you may have been doing something wrong your whole life, or you may have been doing something that doesn't actually benefit you. You know, I think this goes to like toxic masculinity a lot, where it's just like these actions and these ways of being aren't actually helpful, but this is just the way it's always been. It's the way you've been taught. And you got to change that, you know? It doesn't really help. And while it may be hard to give these things up, you got to give them up. You can't hold on anymore. You know, your future and your development are far more important than cheering for the Niners. Doesn't mean I'm not going to, you know, watch the occasional game if I'm with somebody else, but I'm not going to keep up on it. I'm not going to keep up with players. I'm just going to stop giving a shit, because I'd rather devote myself to other more important things. And I have to figure out what those things are, because now there's a hole in my schedule and in my time that originally would have gone to sports, and now it's not. But now's an opportunity to fill that time with better things, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this will be a move that sets me up better for the future. So, not saying we can't talk sports, but don't be surprised if I'm not following it and I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. So, thanks, guys. Appreciate you being here. I'll see you later.